Hello and welcome to this special Foster Care Institute training webinar. Foster Parent Recruitment, creating a strong recruitment program for strong families. The traits of successful recruitment. This is part of a webinar series for foster care agencies to strengthen their foster parent recruitment program. And I'm so glad that you are part of this second webinar in this series. I'm your host, the founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. This is Dr. John DeGarmo, and I thank you for all that you do for children and families in need. If you know a little bit about my own family, then you know that my wife and I have been foster parents to over 60 children. We've adopted 3 of those children. We've had 4 failed adoptions, so we understand all it is to be a foster parent. Along with this, I work with foster care agencies and foster parent groups all across the country and all across the world. So I also understand the challenges that foster care agencies face today. The goal of this webinar is to increase the awareness of how to create a recruitment program and the challenges that recruiters face. We're going to increase the awareness of the importance of first contact with foster parents and give you an understanding of how to develop and implement strategies designed to retain your new foster parents. As I mentioned in the last webinar, the introduction webinar, and across the country and across the globe on the stage, when I work with foster care agencies, I truly believe this. Recruitment and retention go hand in hand. We both know that the efforts of recruitment are often wasted when our retention rates are so very low. There is a reason why foster parents are quitting in large numbers across the world. Foster parenting is tough. It is difficult, and we explored that in the previous webinar, and I encourage you to go back and watch it if you have not already done so. So for those foster care agencies that are spending all of their time, effort, energies into recruiting, if those foster parents are not retaining, if they're not staying, then those recruitment efforts are often wasted. So it's so important to recognize the two go hand in hand. Now, the process of recruiting for foster parents is a full-time one. It needs to be a commitment of all staff members with your agency. For you see, if recruitment is seen as a part-time job or just a secondary job, or a secondary part of the agency, the outcome is going to be a poor one. As we're going to see throughout this webinar and throughout this series of webinars, the process of recruiting foster parents is an ongoing one. It's one that implements a variety of methods and models. So whether your agency has a full-time recruiting staff member or one that also manages areas such as training and licensing for foster parents, there must be a heavy, heavy emphasis on the recruitment of new foster parents. Now, maybe you've seen them. Maybe you've seen those signs, small signs along the side of the road with information about becoming a foster parent. I see them wherever I drive across the country. Signs have a few words and maybe a phone number to call for more information. But do those signs bring awareness to foster parenting? Perhaps. Maybe they do. Are they effective? Not really. You know, a small sign along the side of the road might spark someone's interest, and perhaps a few people will copy down the phone number to call at a later time. But there is so much more to recruiting foster parents and families in today's society. It is important to remember that your prospective foster parents, as well as your currently licensed foster parents, are your partners. You're not collaborating with them, you are partnering with them. They are partnering with your agency for the same goal: to care for children and families in crisis. Your foster parents should be viewed as part of your team and treated with the absolute utmost respect. Let's be clear, you are working hand in hand with your foster parents, alongside your foster parents, not separately. If you view your foster parents in any other fashion, then you will lose them as a resource family. So let's talk about first contact. What if that sign along the road worked? What if somebody actually called that number? Perhaps somebody heard about foster parenting on the radio. I hear it on the radio all the time as I drive to work or drive across the country speaking at training events and conferences. Maybe they heard about foster parenting in the newspaper or at a church. What if someone did call your agency asking about foster parenting? Is your agency prepared for that phone call? So many times the answer is no. In a study on foster parent retention that we examined earlier in the previous webinar, the majority of foster parents indicate that they have a difficult time talking to foster parents on the phone instead of getting an answering machine or even during regular business hours. In addition, foster parents also noted in that study that phone calls were so often not returned. So, what happens? What happens when foster parents call your agency? This is an important question, cannot be taken lightly. So let's address this. What happens when someone calls your agency asking for information about becoming a foster parent? Does someone actually pick up the phone? Do they meet with an answer machine? Is there a unique phone number for becoming a foster parent in your agency? Does that prospective foster parent talk to somebody who does not have the answers to their questions? Are they connected with a person because someone else is too busy to talk to them? Is their phone call answered by someone else who is not so customer friendly and perhaps even a tad bit rude? Make no mistake, that first phone call, that initial phone call, is absolutely important. Very important. For many prospective foster parents, this can be a make or break type of scenario. More than likely, that prospective foster parent has spent considerable time and thought about the decision to become a foster parent. They've weighed the pros, they've weighed the cons, they've discussed the financial obligations to become a foster parent. They've talked to their family members, may talk to their work members, perhaps they prayed about it. When they pick up the phone to call your agency, they've already made some type of commitment. At the very least, they've made a commitment to find out more about caring for children placed in foster care and from finding this information from your agency. So it can be very, very frustrating for someone who has made that decision to call your agency, and to find out more, but instead be met with an answering machine, or worse, leave a message and never receive a phone call back. First impressions matter. It is often said that one can't judge a book by its cover, yet we all do this in some way or another. What is the initial first impression that your agency puts forth for prospective foster parents? When they call your agency up, what is the first impression they get? The first impression your agency and your staff makes needs to be a positive one. Each prospective foster parent needs to be met with a kind and gentle voice, a patient voice on the other end of the phone when he or she speaks to anybody on your staff. Your staff and agency do not need to rush through the phone call. Instead, they need to take your time. They need to take the time and ask the person, and answer the questions as thoroughly as possible and as honestly as possible. They need to introduce themselves by name and ask for the caller's first name and last name, as well as their phone number and mailing address, taking all of this information down. Help your prospective new foster parents to determine if they're a good candidate to become a foster parent and their readiness in doing so. As the phone call comes to a close, make sure you thank them. Ensure that you thank the caller for their time, for their interest in wishing to help children in foster care, for reaching out to your agency, and to reassure them, hey, it was enjoyable to chat with them by phone. In short, make them feel good about making this big, first important step by calling you and finding out more about becoming a foster parent. Again, they've made a commitment to find out more about becoming a foster parent. This is a big step. So you need to just make sure their phone call is a very, very pleasant one. Along with this, take the time to invite them to your next pre-service session or training or other events that your agency is holding in the near future. Remember, this is a big step for them, and the one they most likely did not take without a great deal of thought and consideration. Now here's an idea. Let your prospective new foster parent know that they're most welcome to bring friends to that first meeting. When they get off the phone with your agency, when they get off the phone with you or a staff member at your agency, that prospective new foster parent should feel valued. They should feel they got all the answers they met, and it should be a pleasant conversation, and they should have enjoyed it. And they should get off the phone thinking, I can't wait to become a foster parent. If a prospective first foster parent should call your agency after agencies close for the day or for the weekend, to leave a message in your answering machine, it's imperative, it is important that someone from your agency call back the very next day. The more time elapses between their call to you and your response, the more likely they're simply going to lose interest due to inactivity on your agency's behalf. Indeed, the longer it takes to move from the first step to the next step, the greater chance they will lose interest or feel unwanted by your agency. So, return the phone call as soon as possible. If it's the next day, call them immediately. Apologize for any delay. If they should call on a Friday night, you don't get the phone call until Monday. Again, pick up that phone and call them Monday morning. Apologize for any delay. Thank them for calling, and then take down their information and begin a wonderful and warm, pleasant conversation. But how about after that first call? What do you do after that first initial call? After all, this initial call has been made by prospective foster parent in your agency. The act of following up is a very important one. With the information you took down during the first phone call, send this possible new foster parent and family a thank you card, or a card or note simply saying thank you for taking time to call and expressing interest. Handwritten cards are best. Along with this thank you card, send an information packet to the family as well with information about your agency, about foster parenting, and with information about your next training sessions. Now, 5 to 7 days after sending them this first thank you card and the information packet, get on the phone, call them up, and follow up with a phone call. Once again, you are thanking them for reaching out to you and asking them if they have any additional questions or if they would like more information. During this phone call, invite them once more to your training session or your event that's coming up. Ask them if they would like someone from your agency to come and visit them at their home for an initial home visit. Finally, send a friendly reminder in the mail a week before, to this prospective new foster parent with information about the training session with a friendly note stating that you hope to see them there. This note, these handwritten notes and these phone calls go a long way. And they can put that friendly reminder, that friendly note that you sent them up on their refrigerator, up on their bathroom window, or mirror, whatever it might be, as a reminder. And those reminders carry a lot of weight. Now, when you host your pre-service and training sessions, try to hold them in a warm and comfortable and welcoming environment. Not a cold, sterile office, but someplace that just exudes some type of welcome, warmth. Make sure the temperature is at a good temperature, it's not too hot, not too cold. Make sure the seating is as comfortable as possible. If there are some plants you can put in the area, put some plants and nice pictures. Just make it welcoming and comfortable. Make name tags for each prospective foster parent, as well as name tags for staff in attendance. When they each walk in, greet each person as they enter with a smile and by name, and thank them for attending. Thank them for coming. Thank them for showing interest. Tell them how glad you are to see them. Your agency and your staff need to show their excitement about this event. It's a very exciting event. This is an event where you're trying to gain new foster parents, and your enthusiasm has to be contagious. Your excitement for seeing them has to be contagious. You need to show your excitement about the event, as your excitement often is one that is contagious for others. Hey, when I go to a meeting at church, or when I go to a meeting at work, or when I go to foster care events, I always see tables of food surrounded by people. In fact, I often make my way to the table as well, and I bet that you do too. We all like to have a little bit of a snack at a meeting. It makes the meeting a little bit more relaxing, doesn't it? And not so long and tedious. So have light entries. Have some cookies, some cakes, snacks, coffee, hot chocolate. I'm a hot chocolate person myself. Sodas and water available. Keep the sodas and waters cooled. For those people who may have vegan diets, make some vegan snacks available for them. A fruit platter or maybe a vegetable platter. Offer a variety of training methods during your sessions. These include role-playing opportunities, occasions for question and answers. We all like question and answer sessions, and other active participation activities. Now we know this. A variety of methods not only allow for different ways of learning, because we all learn in different ways, but also prevents learning fatigue. No one likes long, tedious, monotonous, boring meetings with people who speak like this on and on and on. Do you get the picture? You don't like those meetings. I don't like those meetings. And that's one way you're going to turn off prospective foster parents. If possible, try to arrange a foster parent that's currently working with your agency to deliver a short testimonial of sorts, to talk about why they enjoy caring for children from foster care in their own home. You know, these personal testimonies from a foster parent in their own community during this first meeting is often a very, very powerful recruiting tool. More importantly, your training sessions need to be in a risk-free atmosphere and environment for your prospective foster parents. Model the act of being courteous to all who are in attendance, and in no way should your agency and your staff ridicule or belittle anyone for their answers and their responses. If a prospective foster parent should offend someone in some fashion, whether it's intentional or unintentional, quickly remind all attendants this is not permissible. As the meeting comes to an end, as the session comes to an end, with enthusiasm and a smile, personally thank each person for taking the time to attend and to be part of the session. Let them know that they helped to make the session a success and that you can't wait to see them again. Inform each person that they can reach you and the agency if they have any questions in the next few days leading up to the next training session. Now, if a prospective family does not attend the first training session, just send them a card reminding them of the next one, or perhaps a phone call, or maybe both, and let them know that they were missed, and remind them of the next session. Finally, keep their contact information in your files for any future events if they should miss your current training sessions. There's a good likelihood that they may need to be encouraged once more by your agency in a kind and friendly way, as they still may have some doubts about whether or not they're able to care for children in need as licensed foster parents. Doubts that they are, maybe even subconsciously, hoping that you can answer for them. They may doubt that they're worth being a foster parent. They may doubt they have what it takes to be a foster parent. They may doubt that they're the type of person that you're looking for. So a phone call might be a good reminder to encourage them to come again. Now, as you know, foster parenting can be exhausting on so many levels. So many levels. Indeed, as found in the foster parent retention study by the Foster Care Institute, the majority of foster parents indicate they feel they don't get the support they need while having children in place in their homes. Your prospective foster parents face this possibility as well after they become licensed foster parents. So therefore, it's so imperative that they find support right now during those sessions. During your first foster parent training sessions, you can assist your prospective foster parents by helping them identify support people or persons in their lives that they can rely upon to provide help when they become licensed foster parents. These may include family members, friends, neighbors, church members, and others. Make no mistake, they will need help in some area, in some way. A cook meal, running errands, helping out at Christmas time, donating to a foster parent fund, helping to pay for summer camps and field trips for foster children. These are just a few of the many ways that your foster parents can find the help and the assistance and the support they need as they care for children in foster care in your community and with your agency. Now, in addition to your prospective foster parents will benefit greatly from experienced and seasoned foster and adoptive parents already working with your session. Throughout your new foster parent training sessions, try to partner each new prospective foster parent with one who has been and or is currently a foster parent with your agency. Think of it as a mentor type of a program. The experienced foster parent can serve as a personal coach of sorts to your new foster parents, helping them to understand what it is truly like with issues such as completing paperwork in a timely fashion, working with schools and counselors and birth parents, understanding some of the anxieties and trauma the children placed in care need and have. Not only will this help your new foster parents, it can serve as a reminder to your experienced foster parents that you value their hard work, experience, and knowledge as well. Throughout your new foster parent training sessions, try to stay in contact with them during the entire process. In between training sessions, contact each prospective foster parent through phone calls, through emails, through texts. Ask how they're doing, what kind of questions or concerns they may have, and if you can be of any help to them and their family during this process. This will help to develop a healthy and trusting working relationship and partnership between your agency and your new foster parents, as well as to show how much you appreciate and value them and their commitment in partnering with you and helping children in crisis. Now, perhaps the best thing my foster care agency did for me was to connect me to a foster parent support group after my wife and I became licensed foster parents. You can help your new and experienced foster parents by creating supporting a local foster parent support group or foster parent association. There are a number of foster parent support groups and associations across the nation and country. A few of these organizations may be national, while others may be comprised of foster parents like you in your area. Either way, your foster parents will benefit by being in a support organization or a support group, as these will provide your foster parents with not only the support they need, but information, fellowship, important insight that will help them by being a better foster parent. Support groups and associations offer your foster parents the opportunity to develop relationships with other foster parents. These relationships are wonderful occasions for your foster parents to validate to validate their own experiences and emotions they feel as a foster parent. Fellow foster parents will also be able to discuss common experiences, common concerns related to the foster children or children in care living in their own homes, as well as to share ideas and resources with each other. Now listen carefully. No one will truly understand and appreciate what your new and your experienced foster parents are experiencing and feel than other foster parents. Many of these associations meet once a month. Others may meet every other month. But it is important that your foster parents attend these meetings, as it not only connects them with other foster parents in your area and provides the resources they might have, but many associations include training during their meetings. Indeed, when I attend foster parent training events, I often speak at several of these meetings across the country. Training will take several forms: PrEP certificate, CPR certification, drug and alcohol awareness, behavior modifications, whatever it may be. And these hours spent in training will go towards the yearly amount of hours needed in order to remain certified as a foster parent. It's so important that you keep your foster parents healthy and happy. When they walk in the door, let's go back further. When they make that initial phone call to your agency, again, they must be met by a friendly voice, answering questions, taking down the information. And if they met with an answering machine, call them back as soon as possible. Set up a warm, comfortable environment for their first meetings. Make it inviting by having food available, fun activities, making them feel welcome when they leave. Just tell them how much you appreciated them. And then make sure you follow up. This is the first step to getting a foster parent. Now, in the next several webinars, we're going to look at how to recruit foster parents through forms of online technology, social media, through traditional media such as newspapers, magazines, TV, radio. We're going to learn how to work with faith-based organizations in your area to recruit foster parents, community organizations, civic leaders, schools. These are some of the ways that we're going to examine on how to create a strong recruitment program as you recruit tomorrow's foster parents for today's children in need. For much more information about this, visit the Foster Care Institute at drjohndegarmofostercare.com. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and of course you may email me there as well. One of my favorite foster care books for new foster parents is this, A Different Home, A New Foster Child Story. It's a wonderful resource for children in foster care and for foster parents. In fact, this book is designed for foster parents and caseworkers to pull off the shelf and read to a child who's first placed in the home. It's from the perspective of a young girl, perhaps 7 or 8 or 9 years of age, and she's suddenly and unexpectedly placed in foster care, and she has many questions. Why am I here? When do I go home? When do I see mommy next? Did I do something wrong? And by the end of the story, she realizes this. Yes, she is sad. Yes, she is confused, but even though she's in a different home, she's going to be okay. She's going to be safe because the foster parents are welcoming her in the home it's a beautiful illustrated book, and I think you're going to really like this book. It's designed for foster parents to read to children first placed in the home to answer those questions and ease many of the anxieties that they're surely feeling. And of course, there's so many other books at the Foster Care Institute for you to choose as well. Thank you so much for being part of this webinar, and we look forward to you in the next webinar in this series of foster parent recruitment webinars. For the Foster Care Institute, I'm Dr. John DeGarmo. Thank you so much.